Hi everybody, it's Wednesday, May 13th, 2009. Thanks for stopping by. I would like to mention again, please don't forget about the people in Gaza. Please don't forget that they're still starving, they're still dying from lack of medical attention. They're still locked in a huge prison camp for the crime of being the wrong kind of person. No other reason. Martin Luther King said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And I want you to think about that the next time people argue to you that it's okay to imprison Palestinians or imprison Arabs since they deny that the Palestinians even exist as a people. They will tell you they're Arabs. That's fine. Call them Arabs. But don't imprison them for being Arabs or for being the wrong type of person in the wrong place. That is unacceptable. Deny that Palestine existed or deny that Palestine was what you would consider to be a country. But don't justify ethnic cleansing. No matter if Palestine was a country, a province of the Ottoman Empire, a province of Egypt, a province of the Ottoman Empire again, and then a British protectorate called Palestine, and not a independent country. The people who lived in that area were driven out of their homes through random violence, massacres, and terrorism. Yes, terrorism. And that was not okay. That was not something that we should support. And the people, they tell you, well, it was just a war. We couldn't help it. We were defending ourselves. Fine. Let those people go back to their homes. If it was just a war and it wasn't ethnic cleansing, why are they still being barred from the land and the homes that they own and carry keys to? And have carried keys to over this past 60 years as the UN, the United Nations, repeatedly called for them to be allowed back to their homes. As early as 1948, they've been calling for this, and it's never been done. You know why? Because Israel is a Jewish homeland. Now I want you to think about that. Because here in America, we're now faced with people who don't like Mexican immigrants. They don't like black people. They don't like Jews. They don't like this or that. They don't like Muslims. And they're carrying a new flag around now. And guess what they're talking about? A white homeland. Now, if we accept the idea of a Jewish homeland where only Jews are the acceptable people, where anybody else can be murdered or tortured or denied their human rights in dozens of ways, or have their homes demolished while they're still sitting in them, in support of this Jewish homeland. If we accept this idea, what are we going to tell the Nazis? It's okay to have a Jewish homeland, but it's not okay to have a white homeland? It's okay to have a Christian homeland or a Jewish homeland, but it's not okay to have a Christian homeland? Does that make any sense? Is that hypocritical? Of course it is. It's extremely hypocritical, and it's an argument that you're going to lose. So this is an example of exactly what Martin Luther King said. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Because, of course, you're setting a precedent. You're accepting an idea that is wrong, and that idea will spread, and it will go places you might not want it to go. So just think about that. That's just a little aside. That's not really what I want to talk about. The main thing I want to tell you today is that the journalist who was accused of being a spy for the United States by Iran was released recently, I think it was yesterday or day before, they released her. They did not acquit her of the charges. They still believe that she is a spy, but the court concluded that since Iran is not currently at war with the United States, it's not a very big issue, and they can let her go. So they immediately released her. Now, I don't know whether she had a fair trial. I don't know whether she was really a spy. I want you to consider, however, that it is possible she could have been a spy. I'm not saying she was, but it's possible. It's something that we should consider. But at any rate, she is now free. Now, I think they should have freed her. But what I want you to notice about this is that the news, the mainstream media, told you about this repeatedly. They reported on this very well. But what about the journalist that is currently being held without trial in Iraq by the United States? Have you heard about that one? No. It's never been on the news. No one will ever report about that. But there is a journalist being held without trial, probably for the rest of their life, by the United States in Iraq. I want you to think about that. Why did we report on this horrible, horrible country of Iran, imprisoning someone just because they might be a spy, but not imprisoning a journalist in Iraq for God knows what reason, because there's been no trial and no charges. And hey, did you hear about the fact that Amira Hass was arrested recently by Israel when she left Gaza? Now, Amira Hass has been in Gaza for several years, and when she left Gaza and went back to Israel, they arrested her on the charges of residing in an enemy state. Think about that. Israel, the supposed democracy, has arrested someone on charges of living somewhere they didn't want them to live. An enemy state. Now, that is a lie on many different levels, I think, but the main thing that makes that charge ridiculous is that there is no Palestinian state. Gaza is not an independent country. Gaza, for all intents and purposes, is a prison located in Israel. Okay, Israel has complete authority over everything that happens in Gaza. If you try to leave Gaza, you will be shot. If you try to go into Gaza, you'll be shot. If you try to go out in the ocean and fish, you might be shot. If you go to a farm within sight of an Israeli border and try to work your fields, you very well might be shot. And nothing gets into or out of Gaza without the approval of Israel. Israel controls the water and all the other resources. So how could Gaza possibly be an enemy state? There's no way. Gaza is a prison. And anyone who's in Gaza is condemned to life imprisonment. And yet they've committed no crime, most of them. And right now, the people in Gaza are probably still sifting through piles of garbage looking for scraps of food to eat. Probably still slowly dying of easily treatable medical conditions because they're Palestinians. Or if you are racist enough that you don't want to admit that they're Palestinians, you can call them Arabs. That's fine, but they're still dying. And, I don't think this has been reported. And I bet that it will never be reported. Because the people on TV are simply an arm of the government, and they're your enemy. And they're lying to you, and they're manipulating you, and they're telling you some things probably that are true about other countries that they don't like. But they'll never tell you the truth about our government, or about Israel, or about anybody that we approve of who is working with us to ensure that the people at the top are making money. Thanks for watching.